A250101, Robert Erning requested appeal of the zoning commission regarding the decision of the planning director to deny permit 24951 and interpretation of a roof sign for Ravage Village, lot 19, E2 Highway Business District, 663 Lotus Drive.
All right, so just like Brian stated, this is an appeal to an administrative decision. The applicant owns property at 633 Lotus Drive that's located on the south side of Lotus Drive and north of Village Lane. The property is currently improved with commercial structure. The applicant submitted a permit application for a commercial roof renovation, which was issued on October 3rd, 2024. That was to renovate the front roofs to make it seem more commercial. On October 8th, a permit was submitted to install signage on the new structure. This permit was denied the same day, with the reasoning being that the sign meets the definition of a roof sign as written in the Cluro. Per Cluro Section 10.4.2, roof sign, a prohibited type of sign within the City of Mandeville. And just to clarify, that's why we're in appeal, is because it's a sign type. And therefore, you cannot get a variance to a type of sign, only per a size and location. The definition of a roof sign is any sign erected or painted upon, against, or directly above a roof, or on top of, or above a parapet of the building. Any sign that extends above the lowest point of the highest roof plane is considered a roof sign. Again, here's the definition of the roof sign. The applicant disagreed with the interpretation and stated that the renovation that took place will raise the roof plane from the front elevation so that the sign will not extend above the lowest plane point of the highest roof plane. The applicant states the proposed sign type meets the definition of a wall and not a roof sign. A wall sign is defined as an attached sign, which is painted or on which projects less than 12 inches from the wall of the building and is painted on, attached to, or erected against any exterior wall or window of a structure, with the exposed face of the sign being in the plane parallel to the plane of said wall or window, not extending above the building. So this was the previous facade of the building. Mr. Burning built this parapet on top. Mr. Burning submitted other signs. However, these all meet our sign of a wall sign. They are on the plane of the architecture of the building. All of these meet that. Of course, this Pesa sign is probably the least questionable one, but that's been there for quite some time. So again, the applicant is requesting an appeal of the denial of permit 249851 and the interpretation of a roof sign by the planning director.
Thank you, man. Can you go, yeah, I guess that one right there. Can you show me where you think the lowest point of the highest roof plane is considered?
Yeah, so this is the structure before construction. So basically, this is the eave of the building, and so anything above this line would be considered a roof sign. So basically, what was built was just essentially a billboard in front of the facade of the building, and like this. So it's not a part of the roof line of the structure, whereas this is the roof line of the structure on these.
Go back one slide. And so the contention is that is not the lowest point of the plane.
Yeah, that this structure is not part of the architecture of the plane of the building.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Yes, sir. Please, going up, Pop.
Robert Burning, 633 Lotus Drive North. I think what we have here is just a misunderstanding of what is considered the roof plane. The renovation of the roof line, the roof plane, as was mentioned, and Cara's presentation, she defined it as a renovation to the roof plane. It was what we executed. It was permitted by the city. As such, we did effectively change the front-facing roof plane of the building. The new roof plane is what was constructed as a result of this renovation. The very top of that, actually by definition, is a roof. It's 30 inches wide. It is sloped, it sheds water, and it protects that wall. By architectural definition, that is a roof.
So your contention is that that's a roof.
I don't know exactly what you're pointing at.
The new areas is the. Yeah.
My intention is that the portion above that wall is the new roof plane. From the street, the average citizen that would perceive that building, just as they did in the other examples that I presented, if you could show any of those. If we were to look at H2O, let's stay there just for a second, please. A wire photograph of H2O would show you. Can we get these to you guys?
I'm sure the secretary or the director, IT director.
If the intent and the spirit of the sign ordinance is that no sign can extend above the lowest point of the highest roof plane, you would see that H2O extends above the lowest point of the highest roof plane. That happens also with Goodyear. That happens also with almost every sign in Mandeville. There's a roof plane that is below the sign.
I'm going to stop you for a second on Goodyear. The roof post has sides that match up above the Goodyear sign, the sidewalls.
No, the eave is below the actual, that,
I understand, but it's not just a frontage. Yeah, it's not just a frontage. It has walls that connect to the side and go all the way around. It's part of the building wall above the columns on the sides. What we're looking at on your property looks like just a front, and from the sides, it's open. It does not connect all the way around.
So that brings us back to the general public's perceived roof plane from the roadway and the definition of what a roof is. What is on top of that wall is a metal roof. It is angled, it is sloped, it sheds water, and it protects that structure. Effectively, what we have done, permitted, was change the roof plane.
So in your packet, the drawing, typical number 4, shows a parapet with a brace.
No bricks. It's a structure.
Well, that's how it was drawn.
That is how it's drawn, but what you have is an actual full enclosed structure.
So it wasn't drawn as planned.
It was approved at final inspection. Final inspection was approved.
I mean, it does look like an extension of a billboard wall on a building.
Mr. Bryan, we're pretty generous with our time, but Andrew, do you have a 3-minute limit?
Okay, this is parapet. This would be the lowest roof plane in comparison. This signage extends above it.
Yeah, part of that C does extend above that line. I agree. I grant it.
In this commercial building, the signage is completely within the gable, entirely above the E. This was approved and permitted without any variance.
I understand, but we just passed a new sign code in the City of Mandeville.
This was done after the new sign code.
I haven't seen that particular case, and I'd have to look at which building that is. But looking at your building, I would need to know how that meets the rules. Not, I mean, more so than there's other buildings that don't meet the rules.
Well, that's not the argument here. The argument here is that this sign does meet the rule. We don't believe that we're asking for anything that is outside of the current sign ordinance. We believe that what we are asking for is perfectly allowable within the current sign ordinance the way that it is written. I really think that what could be helpful here is a licensed architect to determine what is the roof plane.
Do you have architect?
Karen, would you be happy to explain the roof plane, the new roof plane?
Yeah, just good evening. My name is Kieran Weldon, 512 West 14th Avenue, Covington, Louisiana. I've sat in your seat for 20 years. I was a member of Management Design Review. I also was a former chairman of the Abita Springs Historic District, and I also taught for more than 15 years at Tulane University and University of Louisiana Lafayette, and was the owner of the largest architecture firm in the parish. I say that because I think I can clarify some of the things, or at least help discuss what a roof plane is. A roof is a horizontal or an angled structure protect from inclement weather. That coping or roof element that is on top of the extended wall allows for an established new roof plane. Not the ridge, but that coping and that top will allow for a new roof plane demarcation for you to consider in your plans. Now, the eaves, that's a fair statement about eaves and soffits, that people think that those are eaves and soffits that are the lowest point. The fact is, if you go to Rouse's or other commercial structures, there are signs above eaves all over this city. And I understand you have a new sign ordinance, but I believe that this roof plane reestablishment is going to be correct. And I would offer any suggestions to questions or whatever you have for that definition.
And if I could just add, from a subjective standpoint, if you look at the before and after of what we've done with the building from an innovation standpoint, I think that we greatly improved the property. The primary initiative was to make what appeared to be a residential building that was always zoned commercial, always utilized commercial, to look like a commercial building. That was the initiative, was sparring off the roof planes. Renovate point. If we aren't able to put a sign there, there's a large blank canvas that is unutilized, which I think would be more of an eyesore than what I think that space dictates a signage.
Did you take out, is looking at the four picture? Did you take, yeah, did you take out any of that roots made space for what you put in, or did you just extend out?
No, sir. This roof had to be cut back
How many feet did you cut back?
3 feet.
So it's zone commercial. It is appropriate in that area to be commercial. It passed design review. No one else on there, and I was not the architect, so I just want you to know that. But I can tell you, it is appropriate for a commercial project in this area. It also is a backlit sign, so it will have a LEDs on the backside. It will not project out at night. You will not see it from Beauchamp or anything else. In fact, it is approximately a football field width from that building to the closest Beauchamp house. So we're not talking about something that's going to be impeding anybody's views, light pollution, or anything like that. It also is not incongruent with all the commercial buildings on that route. The Walgreens, the Rouse's, like I stated, which all those signs are above the lowest point. What you're looking at is a wall that has a new roof plane. And what you're looking at Walgreens is that parapet extends that wall, and then there's a roof below that nobody sees. That's exactly what you're gonna see here. Unless you look at this from an angle, you will not see the roof behind it. So I believe that this should be and is consistent with that corridor and the zoning of that project.
So it does occur to me that we're got two things going on. There's a lot of comments you made about being consistent, how it looks and all that. That would be, and I think it's relevant to a certain extent, but it's more relevant to whether or not you have variance. Because I think your argument is more of a technical argument. Hey, look, I don't have to justify anything because I fall squarely within the definition of not a roof sign, but a wall sign. Yeah, so I'm just saying we got two, sorry, science.
And to help illustrate that, Tony, if you look at the Coro's definition of a roof sign, I think if you read it with the understanding that words had meaning, You go beyond that and you think about the spirit of the code. What was intended here is clearly illustrated. Letters above what appears to be the highest roof plane. I think to characterize this as a roof sign is a gross misinterpretation. We are not asking for letters above this wall, above that roof plane. That is clearly drawn on here as an example of what is not allowed.
I have a question for the architect.
Yes.
On the before picture, what is your understanding of where the lowest point of the highest roof plane is?
Would be obviously the E. That's visible in this.
Okay, so on this one, you don't think where do you think the lowest point of the highest,
The top of this extended wall.
even though it's just a facade on the front and doesn't extend beyond just that front piece?
From the layperson's view on that street, West Causeway and 22, they will not see that roof.
You see it from the side as you're driving along. You see both sides as you're driving along there, just like that.
But my point is that by definition, that is now the top of the roof. Yes, the eaves are, but you've approved in the city arbitrarily, mind you, compared to what you have now. Eve is a moving definition because signs are above those eaves everywhere. So I think you have to make a decision. Are you going to retroactively put this on this applicant? Or are you going to be consistent with, we've done it with Rouse's, Walgreens, and there's many, many places that we can drive around 22, B3, and also Florida and see signs above the eaves, if that's your definition, above, signs above those points.
We're getting into.
We're getting up to way beyond.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, if you start seeing, let's look at all these other places, now where I think we're more in variance territory versus no. Look, if it's a definitional thing, we don't really, unless you want to like argue, well, you got to define those in the terms of variance.
No, sir. I'd like to stay on the fact that we don't do this as a roof.
So, and fair enough, I get that, that's fine.
We say side, we think it's just being
This is of the picture that was given, a side above a bill.
And we also think
Yeah,
that
not-
that illustration represents the spirit of the ordinance.
Which is true. We don't want billboards above buildings.
Or letters, as is illustrated here. We believe that what we're asking for is a perfectly allowable sign below the highest roof plane. I am also, and if fairness, let me just, go ahead. Sure. We were allowed to change the roof plane. That was permitted.
Does it anywhere in your permit say that you're changing a roof plane?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it does. The email from the contractor to the permit office mentions exactly that. Thank you. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you all.
And I don't think Cara heard you, but Claire requested a copy of that from the next meeting.
Gulfstead has the architectural plans in your packet, but I'll make sure that, okay.
Could I ask you guys a question? In your anecdotal opinion, do you think that what we've done to the building is improvement?
I didn't want to say anything because I'll lighten the tension a little bit. Your assertion that looks better than that, I disagree.
You like and go where
I liked it here more than the after. But that has a bearing on, the decision-making process, but yes.
Sure. No, I realize like that. Okay. Is that the feeling of all the commissioners?
I like the color of it after better, but it does look to me like an extension of a permanent billboard sign above the E.
Please keep in mind that this is a rendering. It's not a photo.
Photo.
Yeah, okay.
That's the worst thing you get going for you is because if somebody like said of an eagle, it looks literally like somebody kind of put a billboard.
Billboard on top of the building.
And I appreciate that's why I asked, did you guys you did go back and look, and that will be germane, I think, to the technical benches.
And I think the scope matters too, because It's huge compared to the size of the building itself.
Well, to that, it's bigger than we would have liked. However, we were dictated by the existing gable.
Well, again, to me, that's what does or does not support the spirit. And that does not, in my view.
The spirit of the photograph that shows the letters above.
The spirit of the requirements and the spirit of the way they should be interpreted.
In the pictures you gave us, the ones that didn't have a full square building attached to that portion in the front where the signage was, all had some visible roof. Or it was connected in some way. Oh, did you draw? Just draw attachment at the side. I mean, if you look at the dentist, that's a square building. If you look at Crunch Fitness, there is the muscle extrusion for Celebration Church, but the majority of it is within the building facade. And there was the H2O, you see the roof. The Goodyear, that's the whole building. It's not just a projection only on the front facade. I mean, it fits into the building. I mean, the only one that to me looks like somewhat of a protrusion is the Equistapace. The Stat Fitness, it's within the building square facade. It's not just a wall sticking up. I think that's the difference in the visual standpoint. And we'll take a look at we'll consider that when we vote at our next meeting. But just from a visual standpoint.
Is there a vote tonight? Is there a vote tonight? There's no vote tonight. This is a work session. That is inconsistent if we ready to talk.
Because it's a denial of decision.
Yeah, sure, she's standing it.
She did clarify it. Okay, could we go back and just address some of the things that Claire pointed out? The Celebration Church, perhaps? In that photograph, there are two roof planes. I guess, do we agree that there are two roof planes there? How many roof planes in the photograph? I'll set it up.
The Celebration Church. I don't think there's two roof planes.
Okay, is there only one?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Is it the part that is painted gray or is it the part that is painted white?
I think it's all the way across. I think the roof plane is all the way across and the C may be above that, but I don't think there's two roof planes. I don't think by making a projection above it, which in that case is more decorative, makes it a new roof plane. I don't think you can add a wall on the front and it's into the roof, but the roof is behind it and you roofed it obviously because it sticks up and would have to be protected.
Yes.
Like,
It has to have a roof on it. Correct. By definition. Okay. For the dentist, is there one roof plane or two?
I don't know why you see two roof planes there. I mean, on the dentist portion of the building, there's a roof plane. It's set back. There's another building back there, but it's set back.
Another building, you see?
See how it's set back?
To the right,
Yeah, at the right corner.
it appears.
It's not set line. That is flush or parallel to the same front plane of that front wall. I can see it. It's flush. And that sign extends above that roof plane.
Well, the sign itself, even the lettering on the side is smaller than what
Yes, ma'am. But what we're talking about is the roof plane.
And the roof plane on that building may change. I have to see a better view of it, but I don't think that changes what we're talking about here.
Okay. Could we look at the photograph that I sent you at H2O? Sorry. And one final comment. Did I send you guys this photo as well?
I don't have that now, man.
You messaged to
I put all the ones that you emailed me in this.
all of it? You just said this one. This one was ignored, saying he was found at thick.
It's okay. Yes. Okay. H2O. The lowest roof plane is considerably below the signage.
This is a roof plane right here. It's not it's the lowest point of the roof plane.
The highest roof plane.
Right,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
highest roof plane.
You see the ridge of the shingled roof? That's the highest roof plane, and the lowest point of that is an eave that is on both the left and the right of the building. Both of those eaves are lower than the H2O signage. In this example with True Wealth, which was permitted and installed, 3 months ago, the entire sign is located above the eave, which is the lowest point. So all I'm asking for is to be treated fairly and consistently as other companies. That's all I'd ask.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, we've seen a lot of things. Both ways and, for and against. Do we have a public comment? Do we have any further questions or comments? No, that's just. Okay, to clarify, we do not form before, correct? Correct. There's actually a specific revision for, and is, does it require all four a unanimous vote pass?
For an appeal of a administrative decision, it requires 4 votes of members to overturn the vote. So if you want to worry about percentage or anything else, it's a 4-vote requirement. 4.3.3.3 or 4.3.4.3 also gives you all the standards consideration of an appeal. First, is to give due considerations to general purposes of these regulations as stated in Article 1. Next is, before making any determination, you have to determine that it would not impair an adequate supply of air or light to adjacent properties, or unreasonably increase the congestion of public streets, danger of fire, endanger public safety, diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area, or in any other respect impair the public health, safety, morals, comfort, welfare, and aesthetics of the inhabitants of the community. And I say that because typically we have public's, health, safety, welfare. This will specifically references some other factors for consideration for an appeal. And that's 4.3 or 4.3.
I mean, I would start and say that I don't think the appellant has met any of the criteria to overturn the decision of the planned administrator. I don't think this criteria have been met, and I would move to deny the appeal.
Okay, we have a motion to deny. Do we have a second?
Second, I know I would just say, for me, this isn't at all about the content of any sign. It's not about even about the appearance, and it's certainly about the kind of business. We've got people speaking volumes of great things about the business and the good that you do with your business. For me, it all comes down to, I just don't see how that qualifies in that I don't see how any part of that sign does not extend above the lowest point of the highest roof plane. Because I think that roof plane was the initial roof plane. It didn't change by taking some of the roof afterward and put what appears to be something up. So I will vote against the granting it.
But, so we have a second? Yeah. All right. Jamie, would you call roll?
Andrea Fulton?
To be clear, a 4 is
For the denial.
4 is bad. 1 denial. 4.
Rhinehart,
4.
Claire Durio, 4. Patrick Rosenow.
4.
All right, that appeal is denied. Cara or Mr. Arnell, is there any next moves for this over here? Is this before the process ends?
Yeah, it's Maurice. We can't do a variance for a type of sign.
There's no type. There's an appeal process that you do review the plural. It's straight to the court. It's never to the council. That's
All right, I think that's the end of the agenda. Do we have anything else, Cara? Alex? Any analysis?
The APA National Conference is March the 29th to the April 1st. It's in Denver. Please let me know if you all want to attend, because we have to get a suitable by cops. They're also given by online, I think, the first week of May.
Move to adjourn.
Go ahead, second. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.